First of all, let's talk about property of inverse trig functions. For arcsine x, domain is in a closed interval from -1 to 1. Range is in a closed interval from -pi/2 to pi/2. For arc cosine x, domain is the same as arcsine in a closed interval from -1 to 1. Range is a closed interval from 0 to pi. For arctangent x, domain is all real numbers. Range is in an open interval from -pi/2 to pi/2. Range is different from arcsine. Arcsine range is in a closed interval. We will use this property to draw a diagram in a coordinate plane. We will draw the dot, dot. And then this is a dot, dot. Here's an open circle, open circle. Let's label the angle. This is a 0. Here's pi/2, pi/2. This is a pi. This is a -pi/2, -pi/2. Then this will be 1. Here's a -1. 1, -1. Then positive infinity, negative infinity. For the x-axis, this is inverse cosine x. For y-axis, this part is inverse sine x. This one is inverse tangent x. Then we label this is the first quadrant, second quadrant, fourth quadrant. For arc CST, positive x, the value will be in the first quadrant. The pattern for the angle in first quadrant is a reference angle. For special angles, will be pi/n. Second quadrant will be arc cosine -x. The pattern for the second quadrant angle is 180 degree minus alpha or pi minus alpha. For special angles, the pattern will be n minus 1 pi/n. For the fourth quadrant, it's arc sine -x or arc tangent -x. The angle in the fourth quadrant will be negative alpha or negative pi/n for special angles. Try to remember this diagram. This diagram shows all the information for inverse sine, cosine, and tangent functions. Let's go to example for number 1. Inverse sine of square root of 3/2. This number is positive. Therefore, go to the first quadrant. The pattern for special angle is pi/n. So we set up this equals x. We can write down sine x equals square root of 3/2. The reference angle will be 60 degree or pi/3 because the sine 60 degree equals square root of 3/2. Therefore, this x equals pi/3. Let's go to second question. Arc cosine negative number will go to the second quadrant. For special angles, the answer will be n minus 1 pi/n. Still, we make this equals x. So we have cosine x equals negative square root of 3 over 2. The reference angle will be 30 degrees because cosine 30 equals the square root of 3 over 2. That is pi over 6. Therefore, for x equals 5 pi over 6. When reference angle is pi over 6, we will use this pattern to figure out the answer for x will be 5 pi over 6. Let's go to number 3, arc cosine negative square root of 2 over 2. This is a negative number. Arc cosine negative number go to the second quadrant. The pattern for special angle is n minus 1 pi over n. So we set up this equal to x. Cosine x equals negative square root of 2 over 2. Find the reference angle first. Since cosine 45 degree equals square root of 2 over 2, therefore alpha equals 45 degree, we can write down pi over 4. What's x equals? Remember, you have to use this pattern. We figure out this n equals 4. So x equals 3 pi over 4. Let's go to number 4. This is negative number. Arc sine negative number go to the fourth quadrant. Pattern is negative pi over n. So we set up this equal to x. You will get the sine x equals negative square root of 2 over 2. Reference angle is 45 degree equals pi over 4. So the x equals, you have to use this pattern. That is negative pi over 4. Let's go to number 5. Inverse tangent of square root of 3 over 3. This is a positive. Go to the first quadrant. The pattern for special angles is pi over n. So we set up this equal to x. Then tangent x equals square root of 3 over 3. Reference angle is 30 degree because tangent 30 degree equals square root of 3 over 3. That equals pi over 6. So this x equals reference angle equals pi over 6. Let's go to number 6. Arc tangent negative square root of 3 over 3. This is a negative number, so go to the fourth quadrant. The pattern will be negative pi over n. Still, we set up this equals x. Tangent x equals negative square root of 3 over 3. Then the alpha equals 30 degree. That is pi over 6. Because tangent 30 degree equals square root of 3 over 3. Then the x equals, you have to use this pattern to write down your answer. That is negative pi over 6.